couple weeks ago in the properties area, we went through and we added the option in here for the business pipeline. And with the business pipeline, basically it shows you all the listings, the transactions, or the projects that you have going on, and in what status are they? You know, is it coming soon? Is it pre-listing? Is it active? Is it pending? And then as they move through the process, you can just move them through, and then it adds them to that column. Basically, as it changes them like that, it changes the fields inside the database for you for the status in this case. So it just changed it from pre-listing to active for this particular property. Whenever that happens, there is a status change date field that gets changed. And if you have a routine set up on it, that routine then could do something based off of it changing its status date and checking, well, if it's active, do it this way. If it's pending, do it this way. You can do different types of things. So that just allows you to set up automation then to be able to go through and do the things that you want to do automatically and not having to, you know, do everything in a manual, possibly missing something. You know, the whole goal here is to automate in a way that prevents you from losing leads, things going, falling through the cracks, or things getting missed. So that was the thing that we added a couple of weeks ago. And as I started thinking about it, it's like, well, you know, we've got it for the listing, we've got it for the transaction, and for those people that have the projects area, if you're doing remodel projects, you can do projects. But what I don't have on here is dealing with leads. You know, if leads coming in, and we kind of need to do the same thing. So what I did was this week is we created the same type of thing where we have this contact pipeline. So you go into the contact pipeline and it will show you the names that you've got in your list based off of the milestone field that they're part of. So if you go into, let me just go into some name here. Let me edit one of these names. You'll see here that there's a milestone field, and this milestone field can be anything that you assign, but you know, you basically take them through a process. They're a new lead. Then you get them on the call list. Was the call completed? Was it attempted? Did you set an appointment? Did you meet with them? Did you sign the agreement on it? So you're taking them through different milestones. And the whole goal of this now is that whenever the lead comes in, you assign them to a given milestone, then they get put into that milestone column. Well, with Jason here, you know, if I make a call, move them into the call attempted. Maybe I didn't connect with him, but I did make the call. And the thing about this is, now that I know that at least the call was attempted, even though it wasn't completed, and we're working through this piece here right now, is how do you let the AI know where I'm at and what the next steps are? Well, in this case, because it knows that my call has been attempted but not completed, these three people are going to be high on my list for AI to notify me, hey, you still need to be contacting these people. Are they on your call list? Are they people that you've touched base with? If you have touched base with them, then you know you can move them into the call completed. Well, once I've completed my call, the question then becomes, hey, did you get an appointment set? If you did, well, we need to move it in here. So AI can start directing you through the process of moving them through the pipeline. Once I've set my appointment, did I meet with them? And once I put them into the Met, now I've got the Met stuff. Did they sign? Did they not sign? Do we need to do additional follow-up? You know, these are different things that we can be notifying you on as they come into play. Oh, I got a signed agreement on that. Great. Well, we'll come over here and we'll put them in signed agreement. Now, each one of these cards have different things on them down here at the bottom. So if I want to send an email to this person, maybe I've done some stuff, but I just want to take some action here. I can double click on the contact itself and it open up that record so I can get to the contact itself if I want to and do everything from there. But if I just want to do it from here, I can click on the little email button to email this contact. It'll bring up the email editor so that I can do different things. What will happen very soon, and it's not there yet, but what it will do is even create the email for you. So depending on what phase they're in, hey, thanks for making that call, or thanks for taking my call. This is what we talked about, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, we're working through some of that piece right now, but right now you can at least get in there and do that. If you want to send them a text message, if you want to call them, or maybe instead of calling them, you want to add them to the call list for a call back later, you can do that. And it'll prompt you for a date and time on that. How many tags are on this contact? In this case, there's only one tag, but I can click on that tag and maybe I want to, and I can see down here what's currently selected. Maybe I add some other, other tags to them and click save. So it goes through and it starts doing the things that it needs to. Now I've got 2 tags on there. Do I need to add some notes, or do I want to see the notes on this person? I can click on the notes, and there's no notes on here, but I can come in here. I can add a note. Let me go to one that does have notes here just for friends. I think John Adams has, at least a note there. I can add more notes if I want, but it's an action place where you can be knowing exactly what you need to do based off of moving them from one column to the next. Ultimately, the AI assistants will be doing that for you, or at least recommending what you need to be doing through that process. So a lot of fun stuff there. If there is somebody in your database and they're not in the list, they're not currently a milestone, but you want to put them into a particular milestone, you can click on the little plus here, say, Williams, Ellen Wilson here as a name, and then it puts it into that column. So now I can get people into certain columns very quickly without necessarily having to go find them, having to set the milestone. I just do it right from here. So by default, it does come into milestones. You can do the same thing with statuses. So you can go in and do your status items. You can choose whether you want the picture on them or not. It does use the hero picture item. If you don't want pictures on there, you can hide the pictures. No big deal. But if I want to deal with my hot, warm, cold leads, maybe you want to review them occasionally and say, well, he's now a cold lead. I'm going to put him over here, or a warm lead, whatever. Maybe it's it's past, or he's now active. I can move them around, changing that status from this section as well, and it make a little bit more sense. For some data cleanup, the ABCDs is in there, so you can do a similar type of process there, doing just data cleanup and seeing who's in there. For each of these, whenever you select a particular group, milestone, status, or category, there is a little gear option here. You click on the gear and it lets you choose which items do you want to show as columns in here. You can turn them off, and it just kind of puts them into a holding area where it's like, I want the status or whatever down. I want it. I just don't want to show it. Maybe it's something that it's just off the chart. It doesn't need to be seen. So you still have them, but you can come in here and set them in whatever order you want. If there's other ones you want to add in, you'd go into your settings area and add additional options to the list. Ultimately, I'll probably put it in here to let you guys add new items to this list, but it is in the settings area right now. So by doing this, then I can set up the ones that I really need to pipeline them through, and then I can choose which order to put them in based off of what they are. So the actual pipeline process. Once I get them assigned the way I want, I click on save, and then it will go through the process. Now, as I move people through, I can do the drag drop, but I also have the ability to use this last item, which is the change item. So I can click on this and say, well, they actually closed. So I'm going to put them in the closed. You'll notice closed is not on my list. So technically it does change the status, the milestone, but it'll take them off of this list, but put them into the closed area. It's just the closed area is just not viewed in this. So I can choose closed, and then it takes them off the list, and I don't have to worry about it. So the thing that I would like input on is there's a couple more fields that I'm going to be adding, one of which is the lifetime value piece and potential commission. So if I add those in there, we would be able to see, what's their potential commission. Maybe this person's $30,000, this person's $10,000, whatever. And then down at the bottom, I would like to show like a potential commission value. How much do I have in each of these columns, and then probably a total value of what's in my pipeline.